question, what do you see in this photo? If the answer is this, then maybe you should stick around and hear me out on why I now see this, and this. So one of the first things I will tell you if you want to get better at drawing or specifically constructing portraits is to sharpen your observation. Seeing as an artist beats, in my opinion, materials and techniques. Drawing as much information as possible out of references can really help you understanding portraits better, and in this video I'll explain exactly what I'm looking for in a portrait while I'm actually drawing one, so enjoy. The first thing I changed when looking at references is instead of wanting to work from the inside to the outside, I do it the other way around, which means I now pay more attention to the silhouette of the subject and the overall composition. And I capture the silhouette with a technique called the envelope. I talked about this before in other videos if you want to learn more about it, but basically you carve your way from a very rough general shape to a more specific silhouette. As you can see me doing right now in my drawing. You can kind of imagine it as having a block of marble and you're carving away piece by piece until you end up with the shape of a head. So with this approach, it also taught me looking at references in a different way. I now pay more attention to the shape of the silhouette and how I can use it for my advantage while I'm drawing. And the way it works is to not think of the silhouette of the object as the border, but the surrounding space around it. I hope I can explain this in an okay way for you with these images. To come up with the envelope in the beginning stage of your drawing, you focus on the negative space around the person you want to draw. Now, up till now, this will mostly take place in your head, although you could draw a rectangle, the marble block so to speak, if you wanted to. But this is just an example of how you can train yourself to see differently. I start my envelope with the most vague general shape I see, a rough cut from the marble block, and I use only straight lines. As simple as possible and as few lines as possible. The only thing I'm focusing on at this stage is to draw straight lines with the right tilt, or a close enough tilt, and to connect them at the right length and distance. It can take a bit to get used to this approach because it's so different from a structural approach, and this is just observation based, but you can train this just like anything else. It's not as intimidating as you might think it is. When I draw this rough shape, I don't want to capture the whole silhouette. I try to enclose everything of the figure with the least effort possible. And it also means ignoring some parts. If you're able to combine multiple areas into one, then for the next step you can carve out more and more and define the actual silhouette. But I still stay with straight lines. And then I work my way inwards, adding more straight lines I see in the reference. So to sum it up, working from the outside to the inside has proven to be much easier for me. It helps me not focusing on unimportant details and the greater picture. It helps me not getting carried away drawing beautifully defined outlines, but a very light, rough shape I can use as a base for the proportions. And I show you how I proceed with this in my next point. As a beginner, when you look at references, the thing which will hold you back the most is focusing on individual facial features. When you look at this reference, you are immediately drawn towards her eyes, nose, and mouth because they are very prominent and in the center of her face. There is a lot going on there, and the easy thing is to just look and come to the conclusion that the whole portrait is defined by these features. And while, yes, of course, we do have to capture all the little bits and details going on here, there is a more substantial underlying structure. When I now look at references, I acknowledge all the shapes of different features, but I decide to actively push them away in order to tunnel vision on proportions. The problem with focusing on all these facial features too early in the process is that you see them as separate elements, and especially beginners tend to place these separate elements randomly on the face when in reality they are all held together by the same glue, which are proportions. Once I understood proportions are actually more important than any beautifully curved lash line, it changed the way I approached sketching portraits. I take my sweet time with the constructing phase, and only once I feel confident enough in my proportions, I proceed to refining shapes. Because when we draw portraits, we either want to achieve the likeliness of the model or capture that certain essence within the reference. But beginners think all they have to do is copy how they think the facial features look. So when I now look at the reference, I focus on how I can combine these features into straight lines and also which tilt these lines should have. This will give you a much better picture of the proportions once you start comparing the distances to each other. Just like with the envelope, I try to judge the tilt of the line I'm putting down for the forehead, eyebrows, eyes, nose, mouth, and chin. It's just marking where the features will be placed, and you'll learn to judge the distances with time. Small reminder, you can divide the face into 3 equal parts from hair to brow line, brow to nose line, and nose to chin line, but only for the front view. Whenever you have references with an angle like this one, this does not apply and you have to adjust these measurements. This is why drawing from observation only helped me so much in learning to judge proportions. In general, it's much better to ignore strong curves and rounded edges in a reference at first. Simplifying objects into straight lines makes mapping out proportions easier for me. Now, this might be a personal preference, but I find curved lines, rounded edges distracting at times because they make you wanting to polish outlines and focus on unimportant details. Something I didn't have on my radar as a beginner was to come up with relationships between shapes and features you see. I talk a lot about judging distances and measurements, and I get comments like this every once in a while. I just don't see the shapes you're talking about, and I get it. What I explain in my videos might not be for total beginners and you need some basic knowledge. However, the trick is always to find ways to help yourself out when you're lost. And the way I help myself out if I feel lost with proportions and measurements is to compare. I compare everything and as much as I can. The more you train yourself to see and connect, the more information you have to work with. Try to gather as much information as possible from your reference. Don't just try to see the obvious, but come up with guides along the way. Here's what I do. I compare the distance from nostril to the right cheek to the distance of nostril and left cheek. I compare the distances from nose to mouth and mouth to chin. And besides from distances, I draw connections to get a better understanding of how everything is coherent. Like, for example, I connect the inner eye corners with the nostrils and mouth corners, outer eye corners to nostrils, etc. These imaginative connections help me to judge whether anchor points are located more to the left, right, top, or bottom. I don't physically draw them, I just connect them in my head and use it to compare my measurements. Another thing I train myself to see besides from lines and connections are shapes. Very useful. It follows the same concept of the envelope I showed earlier. I look at the empty space in between and ask myself, what shape does this have? And then I again compare it to the space I created while drawing. If it's similar, I move on. If it's way off, I try to correct it. Okay, now this was an absolute game changer for nailing a decent level of realism, and it even impacted the way I'm looking for references. The more dramatic sunlight, the better. Let's take this reference for example. This level of light makes it so much easier. So instead of, again, only seeing separate features like her hair and those nice flowy hair strands, her nose, mouth, the first thing I see is the strong sunlight touching her. And specifically the shape it creates. And now you use that to your advantage. Treat these shapes as just another feature and they can help you with the proportions as well, because they give you even more information and smaller distances to compare your drawing to. But the same goes for shadow shapes, which are of course easier to find in references. I look for those strong cast shadows with these very unique shapes. A tip I have is to keep in mind these shadow and light shapes are not limited to certain areas, and they make drawings look more realistic when they include multiple areas. In this case, there's a strong shadow shape crossing over from her neck into her hair. So don't try and think they have to stay on top of the skin or clothes. They sometimes cover the whole object or big chunks. At times, they create unique and silly shapes, and capturing their little quirks gives your portraits so much life. Also, pay attention to the edges. It's important to keep a harsh, soft, or lost edge. But even just recognizing all these shapes alone will change how you see as an artist. And like I said before, it also has a positive influence on how you choose your reference photo in the first place, which is very important. The main thing is just to try and draw as much information as possible out of a reference or life. The more you analyze, combine, connect, generalize, the more you have to work with. This is just the difference between beginner artists and intermediate or pro artists. Start seeing more and you'll be able to draw or paint more. Most of your artistic development will take place in your head. Yeah, sure, over time you develop muscle memory and habits, but that's all pointless until you begin to understand and connect the dots. At least this is what I think. Let me know if you have more tips for us on how to see as an artist. I hope you enjoyed this little topic with my portrait drawing as a background filler. Here's the finished results. Although not every process is very strict and streamlined, I mostly follow everything I talked about today. Come back if you want to see more of my process in the future, and I'll see you next time.